I was a kitchen beautician, just trying to figure it out and trying to make ends meet. Over the last 10 years, I've made over $880,000 as a full-time creative entrepreneur. Child, listen. In this two-part video, I am sharing the lessons that I've learned from the first few years of being fully self-employed, like stuff I wish I knew sooner. Special side note and special thanks to our sponsor of today's video, the Kalm Kit. But more on that later. Let's get into it. Child, 2015, I worked as a paraprofessional in the school district, and at the time it was the most amount of money I had ever made. It was like $16 an hour. I started sensing that something was going to shift. I was at church and my pastor was preaching a message called Let Go of Your Net, and it was about the disciples as they're being chosen, and for us to contemplate what is the thing that is holding us back from pursuing God the way that we need to follow God the way that we are supposed to really tap into the things that we need to be doing. Child, listen. He said, for some of you, your net is a relationship. I said, oh no, that ain't. I don't guess that's me. And I remember seeing a pay stub, like a vision of my pay stub going across my face, going across my mind. And I was like, what? And immediately after that, my pastor says, for some of you, it's literally your net income. Child, let me tell you something, okay? Sister was a little shooketh. And I remember being like, now Lord, this can't be one of those things that I make up. This can't be one of those things where I don't hear you. I remember going to the altar and crying my eyeballs out. And I will say this too. In certain situations, you have to make moves in the moment that the thing is happening. Sometimes you need to think about it and process it, but I know that fear was going to set in and I was going to talk myself out of what I knew God was saying to me. I was in cosmetology school. It was supposed to be just like an evening program, but I guess enough students weren't signing up. So they were like, your 2-year degree program is going to end up taking you 4 years. No, thank you. No, thank you. We're not doing it. So I said, okay, Lord, how are we doing this? How's it supposed to work? Are you want me to quit, put in my 2-week notice at the end of the school year? He said 2 weeks. I said, wait. You said spring break? He's like 2 weeks. I said, okay. So I got out of church that day, went home and typed up my, what y'all call that thing? Resignation letter. 2-week notice. That's what it was. All of it. I wrote that on a Sunday and sent it in because I was scared, child. Scared. And I was like, no, I can't. This is what God is calling me to do. I was sensing it beforehand. I had been praying about what he wanted me to do, about school versus work, and I'm a single mama. Everybody's situation is different. For me, I was a single mother taking care of me and my son. So that you just don't play with stuff like that. You don't just make crazy, wild decisions. But I knew that I heard the voice of God. And so for me, I had to let go of my net because that's what God was calling me into. So I quit. And to make things worse, I thought that I was going to really get out here and just grind these last 2 weeks out. When I tell you it was crazy, like every snow day that never could have been a snow day came and I did not work for those last 2 weeks. I said, okay, Lord, it's on you. It's on you. And that's how we started. Child, let's get into it. Okay, so 2016. Maybe listen to me. 2016. Through the fire. Quite literally. But listen. God is kind. Because 2016 was a wild ride. But I'm going to go ahead and give you the lesson now. The lesson is resistance is not a sign to stop. All hell breaking loose is not a sign that this is not what you're supposed to be doing. Math ain't mathing. Things get real strange. And baby, we ready to clock out. This ain't for me. I don't know who this for, but this can't be what God wants for me. That's not true. That is not true in the least bit. 2016 was the year that I graduated from cosmetology school. I have an associate degree in salon management. I want to let it be real with y'all. I don't want this to be one of those glamorized things where, oh, I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years and it's been so amazing. No, it's been a little strange, okay? But God is faithful. He takes care of his own and he leads and guides you through. He has to. So anyway, 2016, worked at a barbershop, ended up getting kicked out of the barbershop. One of the biggest, importantest things, I sold my first candle. Kalm Kit Candle Company was officially birthed on July 14th. It was a whole thing, y'all. Story time. So I couldn't pay my rent, After that stuff happened where I had to leave the barbershop, whatever, money just got strange again. And someone blessed me. I felt like the Lord told me to call, and I just had to explain to him, like, with the situation happening where I worked, I'm not able to pay my rent. They're giving me a few days. They said, how much exactly do you need? Tidbit here, point number here, side note, nugget, something. You need to know specifics. If somebody says, how much money do you need? $1 million's not the answer. If somebody says, how much money do you need to do this? 1,000 is not necessarily the answer. What is the very specific number? I think the number was like $932.11. Like, I knew the number, honey. And she said, okay, come get the check. She gave me enough money to pay my rent, to pay my light bill, and I was left with $85, okay? Now, I think at the time I was probably on food stamps or WIC or something like that, so I was able to provide food. But I remember being so stressed. I really want to buy some candles to burn, like the little $10 pack from that store. Y'all know what I'm talking about? They had like 5 candles in them. And I was like, that's irresponsible. And I had this idea at the time, like maybe I should make candles. Because if I make the candle, that's not irresponsible. That's what I thought, right? She gave me the money. I had $85 left. And I said to myself, let me see how much a candle making kit is. So the candle making kit was $65. And I bought this candle making kit. I was going to become a part of a beauty multi-level marketing business. Because I figured I'm in the beauty industry, although I'm doing hair from home, it'll work out. And I had to spend like $100 to get in. And I remember the Lord said to me, you say that you're a woman of faith, but you are more interested in putting $100 into somebody else's brand than putting your energy and your efforts into the brand I want to build for you. You have over $100 in that box. And I was like, girl, I'm not going to be able to sign up with you on this thing. Anywho, on July 14th, I sold my first candle. 3 days later, my car got repossessed. Here we are. We are in that, okay? My car got repossessed. I remember studying that morning, and I think the word was discipline. And I remember being like, Lord, what is this punishment? What is the problem? And he was like, you're not doing anything wrong. Look up the definition of discipline. Because I think the scripture was, he chastises or he disciplines those that he loves. And it led to me understanding endurance. I'm like, I don't want to endure. And I heard some strange noise. I heard like a car honking. And I go outside and they were dragging my car away. I remember I was devastated. Okay, that was July. September, my cousin let me borrow his car so that I could get my son to school. And at the time, although I had graduated, some foolishness had happened with, I didn't have enough credits some kind of way. And so I had to go up to the school. So my cousin was allowing me to drive. So I'm driving down the highway and all of a sudden, the steering wheel tightens up and what looks like little hands is dancing on the hood of the car. Y'all, the hood of the car, the engine was on fire. I pull over, I'm on the highway. So how I went from this lane to that lane, it's by the grace of God. At the time, the handles inside the car were broke. The handles outside the car were broke. The windows was up. It was a thing. It was a miracle that I got out of the burning car. Miracle that I got out of the burning car. But I got out of the burning car. And I just thought it was so crazy. Like, I'm literally on the way to try to complete the thing that I believe God wants me to do. And here comes all this opposition. Everything, like, it was this thing after thing. Even later on that year, I was working at a salon suite. And my son was young at the time. And he was very friendly. Fast forward, they end up calling me and they're like, we can't allow you to run a daycare in your suite. First of all, what? I said, you said that you promoted this as my own business. My son is going to be with me. They told me how to make a decision. Fine. I made the decision. I said, I am going to have to leave here. Here's my 30-day notice. However, he gonna be with me these last 30 days. Y'all, within a few days, I found a place, my own building, and I was super excited about it, but I was concerned about how I was gonna pay for it, pay for that. So I was back to working at home. But the key here is resistance is not a sign to quit. It is the sign that you are heading in the right direction. Okay? Keep that in your mind and in your heart, because that's truth. I know that it gets tough. I know it gets strange. You're like, oh, what is happening in my world? I know that. I've been through that. Keep going, keep going. That's literally it. Don't stop. Don't stop. If you gotta slow down just a little bit, that's cool too. But don't stop. Don't stop. Now, what is my hair doing? Does anybody know? Whatever it wants. Whatever you wanna do. Hello, hi humans. I am here to tell you about the Kalm Kit, an amazing coloring book box. It has color pencils. It has fancy professional grade markers and fancy crayons. It has confession cards. It even has a candle. It's a mighty, mighty calm situation. Go to calmculture.com, code YouTube to get 15% off. Love you, mean it, bye. Back to the video. Okay, so in 2017, I became homeless. Me and my son ended up sleeping in our salon for 7 weeks. Now, let me just give you the point. The point is, ambition should never trump wisdom. Would I do it again? Maybe. But the story goes, I couldn't pay my rent per usual. And sometimes, y'all, we be so just indignant about the wrong stuff. And I was maybe like $200 or $300 short of the rent. And I'll say here, that was a mess. Uh-oh. Yeah, pride was fully involved, because what I should have done is just ask somebody for some money. Can I borrow a little bit? I hadn't learned then by that point the power of just saying, hey, I need help. But yeah, at this point, the candles had been selling well, and I felt like, you know what? I need to do an event. I need to do like an official launch of Kalm Culture Candle Co. True. I did need to do a launch. Did I have to do it then? Probably not. Should I have used my rent money to do it? Probably not. Now, bet on yourself. I'm going to tell you to do that every time. And in business, yes, you take risks. Sometimes they don't turn out like you want to. One of the things that I realized that I do is used to do, praise God, is I would not spend enough time getting the full instruction from God. Okay, I hear a thing and I be like, bet, I'm running with it. Child, he ain't said nothing else, okay? I hadn't got the full revelation of what he wanted to do. I didn't understand his timing. I didn't know that. So anyway, I ended up doing this candle event. I think it was called the Aroma Affair. And it was the official launch and somewhat of a grand opening of that particular salon that I had at the time. And I made my rent money in an hour. I'm feeling good, feeling great. How are you? All the things. But then the payment processor that I used at the time, I still use them, they had never seen that much money come in from me at one time, so they held the money. And the apartment complex was sick of me. And we had to sleep in my salon for 7 weeks. Now, I will tell you, at that time, y'all, I was at peace. I had peace from heaven. There were definitely some people like, Tia, there's no way that you heard God and God allowed you to become homeless and you put you and your son in that situation. There's no way. I can't say that. Do I feel like there was a better way for this to get done? Yes. But would I do it again? I probably would. I don't know, because I also understand that there is, in physics, there's something called displacement. And displacement is really the shortest distance from A to B. So if, let's say, you want to go to your cousin's house, right? And so your cousin lives 2 turns and a hop to your whatever. Displacement is the distance, the shortest distance with nothing blocking it. No turns, no curves, just a straight shot. So I knew then that displacement was a thing where God was still on my side, that I still could get through to the other side. But y'all, faith to me trumps everything. But faith and wisdom go together real bad. They go together real bad. You can't have faith and have absolutely no wisdom. That's not how any of this works. So, slept in the hair salon, and it wasn't a bad time. Did I have some nights that were scary? Yeah. I used to go to the homeless shelter and do hair for free there. So I've always had a special place in my heart for homelessness in the underserved community. I never thought that I would become one. But God still prevailed. He still worked out in our favor. And we moved from a regular apartment to a luxury apartment. God did it. So the biggest lesson is that you need to take risk. But risk shouldn't trump wisdom. It just shouldn't. We hear people saying that we step out on faith. I'm stepping out on faith. I'm going to say this, and fight me if you want to. A lot of times some of us are stepping out on hope. And it's not faith because it wasn't what God asked us to do. It was a really good idea and we went after it. Now, he's still gracious. He's still merciful. He will still look out for us and cover us. But we didn't do what we were supposed to do. I'm just saying. Okay? I'm just saying. Faith without works is dead. That's the theme of 2018. Faith without works is dead. I'm going to say it again for the people to make. Faith without works is dead. Faith, huh? Dead without works. Faith without works is dead. It's dead, huh? Faith without works is dead. True story. I was in this salon, right? My first salon, super cute, right? And my friend called me and was like, hey, such was looking for this dance studio. And they asked them, do they know anybody who wants a salon? Child, by the miracle, the miraculous favor of God, I was able to get into this 2,000 square foot space. That's perfect. It was already a salon. It had rooms. It had all of my wildest dreams compiled in a room. You can tell I'm out of breath because faith without works is dead, huh? Okay, anyway, got into this space. These people made the provision where I could pay like a certain percentage and like it gradually got bigger. I did all the shouting, all the crying, all the fasting for the miracle, then got in there and didn't do the work. Huh? Oh yeah, And so what ended up happening is I was still behind and I'm like, Lord, you gave me this promise. Like, why don't I have what you said and all this kind of stuff like that? And child, I was like, you need to work. And this is when I had to start realizing that what God had given me was a business. It was not just talent anymore. I wasn't just a talented beautician. I wasn't just a girl who made candles that smell good. No, I had to become a business. I had to learn marketing. I had to understand branding. I had to begin to build something. So I was able to start making the money. Started being able to pay the rent. And I realized there was some months that I wasn't able to pay. And when I reached out to the people, I said, I don't know how much I owe you guys. I want to be able to make good on my payment. They said, we don't know. We have to get back to you. So they had to go into their archives, files, whatever, look it up, figure it out. They came back to me and they said, ma'am, you owe us $7,000. I said, my God. Okay, fine. I'll work something out. Next thing I know, I received a vacate to terminate, something like that form. And I ended up having to move out of that salon. That was the end of 2018. And when I tell you, I was ready to quit. I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm not doing hair no more. I'm moving to Georgia. I'm just going to give my whole self to candles. That's what I'm going to do. I've struggled before. I'll struggle again. First of all, get that out of here. Kick it where it goes. Get it out of here. We're not doing it no more. I came from poverty. I don't have to go back to that again. I don't have to do that. I don't have to go back to poverty again. So we're not doing that. So 2018 was Faith Without Works is dead. And not to give up. I know by this point you probably, girl, it's getting real sad around here. It's turning. It's turning. It's turning. 2019 was the year that I hit my first 6 figures. I had my very first 5-figure month, and it really happened because of a very simple principle: obedience. And I had to get serious about scaling back, like not doing all the things. I used to be one of those professionals that did all the things, all the services. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, so I did this and I did that, and I was doing that and then doing this and doing that. And I had to realize that I needed to scale back. One of my mentors says you need to simplify so you can amplify. And people talk about niching down, people talk about niching down. I didn't think of it as that. I had sitting right out what I could do in the least amount of time with the least amount of effort that made me the most money. And the way that I had to calculate that is I would write down how much money I made every day. I realized that there were certain days I made more money. And those certain days, it's because I was doing locks. I was doing locks. So that was the key. Then in August of 2019, Athena, hey. In 2019, the Lord told me to start working less. So when he prompted me to start writing down and tracking my income, I did. That way, when the Lord said, you need to go down to 4 days a week, I was able to. I knew what days to cut out. It drove the demand. I didn't have my schedule wide open. It caused a demand and I was the one driving the demand, not me chasing down, not me chasing a dollar. So 2019's lesson is simplify to amplify. What are some of the things you need to cut back so that you can go forward, so that you can excel? That year, the Lock Maven was born. All right, loves, it's the Kalm Cutie again. Just, giving you a little goodbye. I want to also encourage you to hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe, get ready for part 2. And we have so much more to come. I cannot wait to share more with you. Okay, I love you, mean it, bye.